My beloved child, listen carefully, for what I am about to reveal is not ordinary. It is a message from heaven itself, delivered by Archangel Michael. Right now, in this very moment, God is calling to you. The heavens are alert, watching your every move, and the connection between your soul and the divine hangs by a fragile thread. Ignoring this message is not just risky, it could shatter the sacred bond you have with your Creator. You may feel safe in your routine, surrounded by familiar faces, caught in daily distractions. But the spiritual reality is far more urgent than you realize. Archangel Michael is standing at the threshold of your life, sword of truth in hand, ready to defend you. But he cannot act fully without your response. The time of delay is over. This is heaven's final call. Every whisper of your heart, every prayer unspoken, every hesitation to return to God is being watched, measured, and weighed. Do you feel it? That uneasy stirring in your spirit, the quiet pull in your chest. That is not mere coincidence. It is Michael's warning echoing in your soul. God is waiting. He hath been waiting patiently for your return, but patience has its limits. The divine connection, the lifeline to heaven, is delicate. If ignored too long, it may weaken to the point where the light you once felt so clearly may feel distant, dim, or even inaccessible. Picture a rope stretching from heaven to your heart. Every prayer, every act of obedience strengthens it. But doubt, denial, and delay fray it. Right now, the rope is taut but fraying at the edges. Archangel Michael's wings beat around you like a shield, protecting you from the darkness. But he cannot hold the rope in place forever. Only your conscious return to God's embrace can repair it completely. There are forces, both seen and unseen, that will try to convince you to ignore this call. They will whisper lies of comfort, distractions, and trivial worries. They want to cloud your judgment, to make you think there is still time. But child of God, time is slipping faster than you can imagine. Every passing moment without action diminishes the divine connection. You may wake one day and find the doorway you have been ignoring as closed, at least temporarily, until you muster true repentance and humility. Archangel Michael is not merely a messenger. He is a warrior of divine justice and mercy. He has fought battles across spiritual realms to secure your place in God's light. Yet even he waits for your consent. He cannot pull you back against your will. Heaven respects free choice, but it also honors urgency. Your willingness to respond now is what allows the celestial realms to act fully on your behalf. Consider the small signs around you, sudden opportunities, coincidences, that persistent tug in your mind that you cannot explain. These are not random. They are gentle nudges from Michael, reminders that heaven has not abandoned you. But the warning is serious. Ignoring these signs repeatedly can harden your spirit. Once hardened, it becomes harder to hear the soft whispers of God, and the sense of divine closeness fades. Do you realize the gravity of this? This is not a message for casual consideration. This is a spiritual alarm, ringing directly from heaven, urging you to awaken. Archangel Michael's voice pierces the veil of everyday life, declaring, "Return now, before the connection grows cold." The consequences of inaction are subtle at first, like a dimming candle, but eventually, the light flickers and threatens to go out. Child of God, your heart knows the truth. That inner voice that has been urging you toward prayer, reflection, and alignment with God, listen to it. It is Michael echoing God's command. The call is personal, urgent, and final in its tone. You cannot postpone or ignore it without risk. God's patience is vast but not infinite. The door to his embrace is open, but it will not remain in a state of perpetual waiting forever. Now I ask you to pause. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel the presence of Michael surrounding you. Sense the weight of the divine sword, the unwavering gaze of a celestial warrior whose sole purpose is to guide you back. This is not fear. It is divine love, a protective force urging you to act. This first step is simple, yet profound. Acknowledge the call. Speak aloud a prayer of return, even if it is only a whisper from your heart. Say, Lord, I hear you. I am ready to reconnect. I will not ignore your call. The angels are listening. Michael is waiting. God's heart is open. But remember, hesitation prolongs the risk. Every moment counts in this sacred alignment. Do not mistake comfort for security. Ignoring heaven's urgent signals is like walking near a cliff and pretending the edge does not exist. Michael cannot move the mountain for you if you refuse to climb. You must act now, even if your steps are trembling. This is your moment. This is heaven's final call. Before we continue, remember this feeling. The awareness that your connection with God is precious, delicate, and urgently in need of attention. Hold on to it, because the next revelation will go even deeper, revealing what might happen if the call is ignored completely. My dearest soul, do you truly understand the weight of what is being offered to you in this moment? Archangel Michael is not speaking in metaphor or allegory. This is the literal, divine urgency of God's heart calling you back. Each day that passes without acknowledging this call, each fleeting moment spent in distraction or doubt, weakens the lifeline between your spirit and the Almighty. Imagine your connection to heaven as a radiant beam of light. When you respond fully, it grows stronger, brighter, and unwavering. But when ignored, it flickers dangerously, vulnerable to the shadows that surround you, both seen and unseen. This is not exaggeration. It is spiritual reality. Many are asleep while this urgent message is being delivered. They continue with their routines, believing that God's patience is limitless. Yet Michael reminds us that divine patience has boundaries defined by love and justice. The universe is moving according to God's perfect timing, and you, beloved, are right at a crossroads. Will you answer, or will you delay until the moment of opportunity has passed? The truth is, once this call is fully ignored, it can take tremendous effort and sincere repentance to reconnect. The heavens do not shut the door permanently, but the ease of return diminishes, and the peace you once knew grows harder to reclaim. There are spiritual forces actively trying to distract you right now. They know the power of your obedience and the strength of your divine connection. These forces will present harmless distractions, whispers of comfort, promises of worldly satisfaction, and even subtle doubts. Michael stands before you, sword drawn, protecting your soul. But he cannot remove these forces for you unless you step forward willingly. You must choose to respond, to align yourself once again with the will of God. This is the essence of free will in action. The angels can guide, protect, and strengthen, but they cannot force your heart to open. Right now, as you hear these words, I want you to visualize Michael's presence around you. His wings stretch across your spirit like a protective canopy. His sword, glowing with divine fire, stands as both shield and reminder of heaven's authority. He's not here to frighten you, but to awaken you, to illuminate the reality of the moment. There is urgency in his stance because the forces of neglect and delay are real, and time is slipping by faster than most realize. Each second without spiritual action is a step away from the clarity, protection, and peace that God intends for you. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Where have you ignored the subtle nudges of the Spirit? Where have you justified delay or distraction? These moments are precisely where the connection frays, and the angels are waiting for your acknowledgement. Michael calls to you now, saying, "Return," before hesitation makes the path more difficult. Do not allow the gift of divine presence to slip silently through your fingers. This is not just advice. It is a command infused with love, urgency, and eternal significance. You may be thinking, "I will return tomorrow. I will pray later. I will make amends eventually." Understand this. Heaven operates outside human notions of time, but Michael is showing you the opportunity that exists in this present moment. Delay does not guarantee another chance in the same clarity or intensity. The energy of divine call, when heeded immediately, carries transformative power. When ignored, that energy dissipates, leaving the soul in a weakened state, vulnerable to fear, doubt, and spiritual confusion. Child of God, the angels are calling for more than casual attention. They are calling for decisive action, for recognition, for alignment. Simple acknowledgement is not enough. You must move with intention. Speak to God. Pray with sincerity. Open your heart fully and let Michael guide your steps. Feel the light of heaven touch you, rekindle the divine spark within, and repair the fragile threads of connection that have been stretched by neglect. This is not theoretical. It is practical, experiential, and essential. And while you are here, hearing these words, let me remind you of something crucial. If this message is awakening your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. Share it with those around you. Like this video to affirm your commitment to the call, comment to declare your intention to return to God, and subscribe to join others who are seeking the same divine connection. Your participation not only strengthens your own faith, but it encourages countless others to awaken as well. Every interaction amplifies the spiritual impact of this message, spreading the light of heaven across the world. Before moving deeper into this journey, remember this retention truth. The next revelation will expose the hidden ways your hesitation has affected not just you, but the spiritual atmosphere surrounding your family, your home, and even your closest relationships. Hold on to this awareness, because understanding the full scope of heaven's call is the next step in your sacred awakening. Trust me, what comes next will illuminate areas of your life you never realized were vulnerable and in need of divine repair. The connection you feel with God is precious, alive, and waiting. Archangel Michael stands as the gatekeeper, the protector, and the herald of your return. Every day that passes without acknowledgement is a risk that cannot be measured in earthly terms. The call is personal, immediate, and serious. You must choose, here and now, to respond with your full heart and willingness. Your moment has arrived. Eat it. Speak to God. Allow Michael to guide your soul back to the full radiance of heaven's embrace. And as you do, remember to like, share, and comment your commitment. Subscribe to remain connected and join the community who are choosing to respond to heaven's final call. Let the ripple of obedience strengthen not only your life, but the spiritual awakening of everyone around you. My cherished child, Archangel Michael speaks now with a clarity that cannot be ignored. This is not a message for later consideration or casual reflection. This is heaven's final call, a summons that carries eternal significance. The very essence of your spirit is being measured in this moment, and the choice you make today will determine the strength of your connection with God for years to come. Michael stands beside you, unwavering, his eyes filled with both stern warning and infinite compassion. He has been sent to remind you that God is waiting, and the door to his embrace is open, but not for long. Think of your soul as a vessel, created to reflect the light of heaven. Every action, every prayer, and every moment of obedience fills that vessel with divine radiance. But when the call of God is ignored, when spiritual discipline is delayed, the vessel begins to dim. The glow that once shone brightly is now flickering, vulnerable to darkness, and Michael's sword of light is poised to protect what remains, but he cannot restore the vessel fully without your willingness to return. This is why your response is critical. The connection is delicate, and heaven's patience, though vast, has limits. You may feel distant, as though God is watching silently, but not directly involved. That feeling is intentional, a test, and a wake-up call all at once. Michael's presence is the bridge, a living reminder that you are never truly alone, even when life's distractions make you forget. He watches over your heart, nudging it, whispering truths that only your spirit can recognize. The urgency is real. The longer you ignore this call, the more challenging it becomes to feel God's intimate presence. It is not because God has turned away, but because your hesitation has allowed interference to cloud the clarity of your spiritual perception. Let me explain why this moment is so pivotal. God's timing is perfect, and you are being given a unique opportunity to repair and strengthen your bond with Him. If you act now, your heart, mind, and soul align, creating a vibrational resonance that heaven can use to manifest blessings, protection, and guidance. If delayed, the spiritual channels become congested with doubt, fear, and distraction. Archangel Michael warns that this is the time to act decisively, to embrace the call fully, and to declare your willingness to return. The consequences of ignoring this call are not abstract. They are felt in the dimming of inner peace, the increase of uncertainty, and the subtle weakening of spiritual clarity that once guided your steps. Do you feel the heaviness in your spirit? That is not coincidence. That is Michael's presence stirring you awake. Every whisper of unease, every gentle tug of conscience, is a divine signal to take action. God's love is abundant, but it does not eliminate the need for human responsibility. The act of returning, of acknowledging your dependence on God, is what activates heaven's full protection and power. Michael stands ready to escort you back into the fullness of divine alignment, but only if you allow Him to guide your steps. Right now, you may feel unprepared, unworthy, or even hesitant. These feelings are normal, but they are precisely what Michael wants you to overcome. Divine courage is not the absence of fear. It is the conscious decision to act despite fear. Speak aloud, if you can, and declare, "I hear you, Lord. I return. I choose your light." These words carry power that echoes in the spiritual realm. They awaken angels, align your soul, and restore the threads of connection that hesitation may have weakened. Consider the subtle signs around you that have pointed to this moment, the sudden insight, the dreams, the unexpected encounters, the inexplicable tug in your heart. These are not coincidences. They are Michael's way of signaling that your window for decisive action is open now. To ignore them is to risk prolonging spiritual distance, but to embrace them is to step into the abundant grace and protection that God has always intended for you. As you absorb this, know that the angels rejoice when a soul responds. Michael's sword becomes a shield, not only guarding you, but empowering your spiritual authority. This is why your return matters so deeply, not only for your own life, but for the atmosphere of blessing and light that your obedience can extend to those around you. You are a beacon, and every step back to God strengthens not only your own light, but the light of your family, your community, and the unseen spiritual realms. Type "I receive the mystery" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 777 has just been released. Let this be your first step in claiming the fullness of divine alignment. If you feel moved to support this mission, understand that your action here can extend the light of heaven to countless others. By contributing through Super Thanks, joining membership, or donating via PayPal link in description, you are actively participating in God's work. You are helping the angels reach more souls who are waiting to hear this call. Your gift is not for us, it is for the kingdom. You are sowing seeds of light into the hearts of those still wandering, allowing them to experience divine guidance and protection. Michael and the hosts of heaven recognize your obedience, and your act of support releases blessings in your own life, opening new avenues for spiritual growth and clarity. Your contribution becomes a prophetic act, a tangible reflection of your commitment to God's mission on earth. Step forward in faith, knowing that every gift multiplies in the spiritual realm, bringing illumination to lives far beyond what you can see. This is your chance to respond to heaven's call in a way that reverberates across both the seen and unseen realms. My beloved child, the urgency of this message cannot be overstated. Archangel Michael's call is ringing through the very core of your spirit, demanding attention, demanding action. God is not speaking in whispers anymore. He is speaking through his mighty warrior, urging you to return fully, without hesitation, without delay. Every hesitation, every thought of later weakens the connection that heaven has so carefully maintained with your soul. Imagine for a moment the sacred cord that ties your heart to God's presence. It is not an endless string. It is precious, fragile, and yet incredibly strong, capable of carrying divine light across the expanses of your life, but only when you tend to it with awareness and love. The enemy of your spiritual progress thrives in moments of distraction. He will try to convince you that the call is optional, that God's patience is infinite, that tomorrow is just as good as today. These lies are dangerous because they pull you away from the present moment, which is the only moment where transformation can truly occur. Archangel Michael is here to sever these deceptions, to illuminate the lies with the sword of divine truth. He is a warrior who cannot act fully on your behalf until you consciously step into your role in God's plan. Your free will is what activates the power of heaven in your life, and right now, every second counts. Do you feel that heaviness pressing on your chest, that subtle unease that you cannot shake? That is Michael's presence, surrounding you with protective energy while also urging you to awaken. The heaviness is not fear, it is divine awareness manifesting, a call to action that cannot be ignored. He's reminding you that spiritual neglect has consequences. The longer you delay, the more difficult it becomes to hear the gentle whispers of God. And while God's love is unconditional, the clarity, peace, and guidance that come from an active connection are not automatic. They require your response, your alignment, your willingness to act with purpose. Look around your life and see where hesitation has already cost you. Perhaps there are relationships strained, opportunities lost, or moments of peace replaced by confusion. These are not coincidences. They are the subtle ways in which a weakened connection affects every area of your life. Archangel Michael does not bring this reality to frighten you. He brings it so you may recognize the urgency and act. The path back to God is always open, but it is easier to walk when the heart is ready to receive. Heed this call, and every area of your life will begin to align with divine order, purpose, and clarity. You may feel unworthy, as though your mistakes, regrets, or shortcomings have created a barrier between you and God. Listen carefully. Michael and the hosts of heaven are not deterred by your past. They are waiting for your willingness. The moment you turn, the moment you acknowledge God's call, the entire spiritual realm moves to welcome you back. The weight of guilt and shame is lifted. The cords of doubt and confusion are untangled, and your heart begins to resonate once more with divine light. This is not metaphor. It is reality in the spiritual realm. Your soul can experience this transformation immediately, the instant you choose obedience over delay. Imagine now Michael standing before you, his wings stretched wide, a radiant glow surrounding him, his sword poised, but not threatening. He does not demand fear, he demands awakening. He demands that your spirit recognize the critical moment in which it stands. God is watching, and he is waiting. The time of casual engagement with your faith has passed. Now is the moment for decisive action. Speak to God, even if your words are simple. Say, Lord, I hear you. I choose to return. I will align myself with your will. Allow this declaration to resonate through your being. Feel the power of heaven respond. You are not alone in this process. Michael walks with you, strengthens you, and prepares you to reclaim the full light of your soul. Do not underestimate the significance of this step. Spiritual growth, protection, and divine guidance all require your participation. Heaven can bring support, clarity, and even miraculous intervention, but it cannot override your free will. The angels are waiting for your consent. Your acknowledgement of God's call is the key that unlocks their full power in your life. It is a sacred act of partnership between the human and the divine, between your spirit and the unending love of God. Right now, focus your mind on your heart. Visualize the connection to heaven strengthening as you breathe in divine light. Feel Michael's wings wrap around your soul. Feel the protective energy of his sword, and understand the magnitude of what is at stake. This is not merely about avoiding spiritual danger. It is about reclaiming a fullness, a joy, and a clarity that can only come from walking in alignment with God's will. Child of God, every hesitation you release, every doubt you surrender, every prayer you speak strengthens your bond with the divine. Michael is ready to guide you through this process, but he cannot act without your conscious choice to return. This is the moment to awaken, to act, and to realign your soul with heaven. The next revelation you will hear will expose the subtle ways your daily actions either strengthen or weaken this connection. Hold on to the awareness of Michael's presence and prepare yourself for what is about to be revealed. The depth of the warning will inspire not fear, but holy urgency and clarity. My beloved child, as you continue to listen, I urge you to consider the profound reality of what Archangel Michael is revealing. This is not a message to be brushed aside or delayed. Heaven is watching your every thought, every hesitation, every decision. The sacred thread connecting your soul to God is alive, pulsing with divine energy, and it is vulnerable to neglect. Each day that you delay your response to this call, the thread becomes weaker, the connection less vibrant, and the spiritual clarity you once experienced begins to fade. Michael is here to guide you back, but your willingness is the spark that ignites the full power of heaven in your life. Think for a moment about the moments in your life where you have felt lost, confused, or burdened. Those are not random occurrences. They are the subtle effects of ignoring the divine guidance that has always been extended to you. Archangel Michael has been sent as a protector, a guide, and a warrior to remind you that your soul's alignment with God determines not only your peace, but the spiritual atmosphere surrounding you. The more you respond, the more light floods into every area of your life, strengthening your relationships, your decisions, and your purpose. It is natural to feel hesitation or fear. You may question your worthiness or doubt that God can truly accept you again. Listen carefully. Michael does not judge your past actions. His purpose is to protect, guide, and restore. Every moment of obedience, every prayer of surrender, Every decision to realign your heart with God strengthens your soul and restores the connection that may have been strained. You do not need perfection. You need a willing heart. The act of returning is what activates heaven's full power in your life, bringing clarity, protection, and spiritual guidance that can transform even the most challenging circumstances. You may wonder why this message feels so intense, so urgent. The answer is simple. The connection between you and God is precious, and the forces of distraction, doubt, and delay are relentless. The enemy will do everything possible to convince you that this call is optional, that your moment of awakening can wait. But Michael is here to remind you that delay carries consequences. Not permanent separation, but a gradual weakening of clarity, peace, and divine alignment. Every moment you choose awareness and obedience strengthens your soul, while every moment you ignore the call allows darkness to linger, subtle but real. Now, envision Michael standing by your side, his radiant wings stretched wide, his sword of light gleaming with divine authority. He is not here to intimidate you. He is here to awaken you. He stands as a guardian of your soul, a messenger of God's love, and a guide for your return. He cannot force your hand, but he can protect, illuminate, and strengthen every step you take toward realignment. The choice is yours, and the urgency is real. God is waiting, but his timing and patience operate within divine order. Hesitation weakens the clarity of this order, making it harder to perceive the path forward. Reflect on the subtle ways Michael has been speaking to you already. Perhaps it was a dream, a sudden insight, a persistent feeling in your chest, or a whisper in your mind urging you to pause and reflect. These are not coincidences. They are divine signals, carefully placed to awaken your awareness and guide you back to God. Ignoring these signals is like walking past a warning light repeatedly until the danger becomes unavoidable. Heed them now. Act now. Every prayer, every acknowledgement, every step of obedience strengthens your bond with heaven and restores the clarity you need to navigate life's challenges. Child of God, understand this. Spiritual connection is not passive. It is alive, active, and responsive to your choices. Michael's presence, the sword of protection, the wings of guidance, all these exist to support your alignment, but they require your participation. Your prayers, your acknowledgement, your conscious return to God's light are what allow heaven to move fully in your life. This is the divine partnership between human will and heavenly guidance, and it is the moment of decision that determines the strength and clarity of your connection. As you internalize this message, prepare yourself for what comes next. The following revelation will show you how deeply your daily thoughts, words, and actions either strengthen or weaken the connection to God. It will reveal the hidden areas where spiritual neglect may have taken root, and how you can repair them through conscious alignment, prayer, and obedience. Michael's guidance will illuminate the path, but it is your responsibility to walk it with intention and sincerity. Do not delay. Do not rationalize. Do not doubt that your response matters. This is heaven's final call, a sacred opportunity to reclaim the light, protection, and clarity that God intends for your life. Every moment counts. The more you respond with awareness, the stronger your connection becomes. The more you delay, the more subtle the weakening grows, and the more effort will be required to restore balance. Archangel Michael stands ready, waiting, watching, and protecting. Your decision to act is the key that unlocks the fullness of divine alignment. Hold this awareness in your heart. Michael is present. God is waiting. The call is urgent. The opportunity is now. Your soul's journey is at a crossroads, and your response will determine not only your spiritual clarity, but the flow of blessings, protection, and guidance in every area of your life. My dearest child, listen closely, for this is a moment of revelation that cannot be ignored. Archangel Michael is urging you with a voice of authority and love, reminding you that God's call is real, immediate, and urgent. Every day that passes without acknowledgement weakens the sacred bond that connects your heart to the divine. The connection between you and God is not abstract. It is tangible, alive, and powerful. It can bring clarity, protection, guidance, and blessings beyond what you can imagine, but only if you actively choose to respond. Hesitation is the only barrier standing between your current state and the full radiance of heaven's light in your life. Michael wants you to understand that the forces of distraction are relentless. Every temptation to delay, every rationalization that later will suffice, is a deliberate attempt to pull you away from your spiritual alignment. The enemy knows that your obedience activates divine protection, and he fears the power you carry when fully aligned with God. But the angels are here to guide and protect, and Michael's sword is poised to defend you from unseen forces, but only if you choose to step into the light. Free will is sacred, and your decision right now determines how fully heaven can operate in your life. Take a moment and reflect on the times you have felt distant from God. Perhaps you have experienced moments of confusion, inner unrest, or a persistent sense that something vital is missing. These are not accidents. They are subtle signals from Michael and the divine, prompting you to realign your spirit. God's love is unconditional, yet the clarity, guidance, and strength that come from a fully active connection must be intentionally activated by your response. The moment you return to God, these gifts are released in abundance, reshaping your life, your decisions, and the spiritual atmosphere around you. Consider the sacred thread that connects your soul to heaven. Each act of obedience, each prayer, each acknowledgement strengthens this connection. But every moment of delay frays it, making your spiritual clarity weaker and more vulnerable to doubt, fear, and confusion. Michael's presence is designed to shield you, but even the mightiest angel cannot fully repair what is ignored. Your active participation is required to restore and strengthen this bond. Recognize that your choices right now are not just about today. They determine the trajectory of your spiritual journey and the blessings you will experience for years to come. Now is the time to act decisively. Speak aloud to God if you can, or silently in your heart, declaring, "Lord, I hear you. I am ready to return. I surrender my hesitation and align with your will." These words are not just symbolic. They are activating forces in the spiritual realm. They summon angels, including Michael, to stand with you, guide you, and protect you as you navigate this sacred path. Every moment of acknowledgement is like striking a chord that resonates across heaven, strengthening your alignment and opening doors to divine blessings that may have seemed inaccessible. Child of God, understand that spiritual growth is not passive. It requires active participation, acknowledgement, and obedience. Michael stands ready, not to force you, but to guide you. His sword is a shield of protection, his wings a canopy of safety, and his presence a constant reminder of the urgency of this call. The longer you delay, the more subtle the weakening of your spiritual connection becomes. Do not mistake comfort for security. Every moment of inaction is an opportunity for distraction, doubt, and delay to take hold. As you hear this, it is essential to also act in ways that amplify the spiritual impact of this message. Like this video to affirm your commitment to the call, comment to declare your intention to return fully to God, and share it with others who may also need this urgent reminder. Subscribe to the channel to remain connected with these messages of spiritual awakening, and consider joining the membership to strengthen your alignment with the mission of spreading God's Word. By engaging actively, you are not only reinforcing your connection to heaven, but also helping others awaken to the same call. Every interaction strengthens the spiritual flow, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond your immediate perception. Now, prepare yourself, for the next revelation will uncover hidden areas of your life where spiritual neglect has created imbalance. You will see how everyday decisions, seemingly small and insignificant, can either strengthen or weaken your connection to God. Michael is preparing to illuminate these areas, giving you the tools to restore alignment, repair what has frayed, and step fully into the light that is waiting for you. Hold on to this awareness, and let the urgency of the call motivate your heart to act decisively. Remember, this is not about fear, it is about awakening. Michael is here to protect, guide, and empower you, but he cannot act fully without your cooperation. Your active engagement in prayer, acknowledgement, and obedience is what unlocks the full blessings and protection of heaven. Delay is the only barrier. Respond now, and the light of God will flood into every area of your life, bringing clarity, peace, and divine guidance. The next part will reveal even deeper insights into the consequences of ignoring this call and how to fully restore your connection with God. Keep this urgency alive in your heart, and allow Michael to guide you step by step toward the divine alignment that is waiting. My beloved child, Archangel Michael is speaking now with a voice that cuts through the distractions of this world. This is a message of urgency, a call to awaken your spirit and realign your heart with God. The divine connection you once experienced is still present, but it is fragile. Every hesitation, every delay, every moment spent in doubt or distraction weakens the thread that binds your soul to heaven. Michael stands beside you, sword of light in hand, wings stretched wide, reminding you that the time to act is now. This is not a distant warning. It is a present reality. Consider the many moments in your life where peace has eluded you, where clarity seemed just out of reach, or where inner unrest persisted despite your best efforts. These are not coincidences. They are signs of a fraying connection, a subtle weakening that occurs when you ignore God's call. Michael has been sent to protect you from this spiritual erosion, but he cannot restore fully what is ignored. Your acknowledgement, your prayer, and your conscious choice to return to God are what activate heaven's full power in your life. You may feel unworthy, thinking that your past mistakes, regrets, or distractions make you incapable of fully returning to God. Michael wants you to understand this. Worthiness is not the requirement, willingness is. Every act of obedience, every moment of surrender, every acknowledgement of God's presence strengthens your connection and restores what hesitation has weakened. The angels rejoice when a soul responds. They move, act, and protect, but only when the human heart consciously aligns with the divine. This is the sacred partnership between your free will and God's power. Do you feel the subtle tug in your chest, the persistent whisper in your mind urging you to pause and reflect? That is Michael's presence. It is not fear, it is divine awareness manifesting, calling you to action. The forces of distraction are real, but so is the power of obedience. By responding now, you reclaim your spiritual clarity, your peace, and the guidance that can shape every area of your life. By ignoring it, you allow subtle shadows of doubt and uncertainty to grow stronger, creating obstacles that could have been avoided. Now is the moment to act. Speak to God openly, even if only in your mind. Lord, I hear you. I am ready to return. I surrender my hesitation. Align me fully with your will. Feel the words resonate through your spirit, activating the forces of heaven to support and guide you. Michael is waiting, ready to stand by your side, to shield you, and to illuminate the path forward. Your obedience is what unlocks the full power of this divine protection. Think about the sacred thread that connects your heart to God. Each act of acknowledgement, each prayer, each sincere intention strengthens it. But every delay, every act of avoidance, phrase it further. Michael's wings of protection can shield you, but they cannot repair the damage caused by prolonged neglect. Your conscious choice to return is the spark that restores the thread to full strength, allowing divine light to flow freely into every corner of your life. Child of God, it is time to recognize the hidden consequences of spiritual neglect. They are not always obvious, but they manifest in subtle ways: increased anxiety, confusion, strained relationships, and a general sense of disconnection from your purpose. These are signs that your alignment with God has weakened. The good news is that recognition is the first step toward restoration. Michael is prepared to guide you, but you must step forward, willing and open, to receive his guidance and the full blessings of God. Hold this awareness in your heart as you move forward. The next revelations will show you exactly how to repair the fraying connection and reclaim the fullness of divine light in your life. You will learn the practical steps of spiritual alignment that strengthen your bond with God, protect your soul, and bring clarity to every decision. Michael's guidance will illuminate these areas, showing you how to act decisively and with intention. Before moving on, understand that engagement is essential. Share this message with others who may also be struggling. Like this video to affirm your own commitment, comment to declare your willingness to return to God, and subscribe to remain connected with these divine messages. By participating actively, you not only strengthen your own spiritual connection, but also help awaken others who are being called. The ripple effect of obedience extends far beyond what you can see. Now, take a moment to feel Michael's presence, to feel the protective energy surrounding you, and to acknowledge that God is waiting. The thread connecting your soul to heaven is still alive. It is still strong enough to carry divine light, but only if you act decisively. Every moment counts. Hesitation allows shadows to grow, but every step of obedience strengthens the light, bringing clarity, peace, and divine guidance into your life. The next revelation will show you the hidden forces that attempt to weaken your connection, and how Michael and the angels act to protect you. Understanding this will give you the awareness to respond more fully and decisively, ensuring that your soul remains aligned with the light of God. Prepare your heart, focus your spirit, and allow Michael to guide you toward the restoration that is waiting. My precious child, Archangel Michael now draws closer, not with thunder, but with a piercing stillness that demands your full attention. This is a turning point. What you are hearing now is not information. It is instruction from heaven. The connection between you and God is standing at a decisive threshold. Michael is revealing that there are unseen forces constantly attempting to weaken this bond, not through chaos, but through subtle erosion. Small compromises, delayed obedience, distracted prayers, and silent resistance slowly thin the spiritual channel. Over time, this creates distance, not because God leaves, but because the heart stops reaching. Michael wants you to understand something critical. The greatest danger to your spiritual connection is not rebellion, but neglect. Many believe that as long as they are not actively turning away from God, they are safe. But heaven does not operate on neutrality. The spiritual realm responds to intention, attention, and alignment. When your focus drifts for too long, the flow of divine clarity slows. Guidance becomes quieter. Discernment becomes clouded, and the soul begins to feel isolated, even while God is still near. This is why this message is so urgent. Right now, Michael is exposing patterns that have gone unnoticed. The moments you choose comfort over conviction. The times you silence that inner nudge to pray, to pause, to realign. These moments seem harmless, but repeated over time, they build walls where there were once open gates. Heaven is not condemning you for this. Heaven is warning you. Because what can be gently corrected now may require deep restoration later. Michael's role in this hour is to interrupt that pattern before the connection weakens further. Feel this truth settle in your spirit. God is not angry with you. God is waiting for you. Waiting with patience, but also with urgency. The waiting is not passive. Heaven is active, watching, preparing, responding to every shift in your heart. When you choose alignment, angels move. When you delay, they pause. Michael stands ready, but his authority operates in partnership with your obedience. This is why your response in this season matters more than ever before. You may be sensing resistance even as you hear this. A part of you may want to withdraw, to avoid the weight of responsibility that comes with spiritual awareness. That resistance is not from God. Michael is revealing that it is the last defensive distraction trying to hold its ground. Push past it. This is where breakthrough lies. On the other side of this resistance is clarity, peace, and restored intimacy with God. But you must move through it consciously. Now hear this clearly. The connection is not broken yet. It is strained, but it is repairable. And the repair does not require perfection. It requires decision. A firm, internal shift that says, I will no longer drift. I choose alignment. A decision sends a signal through heaven. Michael responds instantly. Protection strengthens. Discernment sharpens. The fire begins to live. This is how spiritual restoration begins, not with emotion, but with resolve. Archangel Michael is also revealing that your response does not affect only you. Your alignment impacts the spiritual atmosphere around you, your home, your family, your relationships. When one soul realigns, it creates a covering. When one heart returns, it opens a channel of light that others can feel, even if they cannot explain it. This is why heaven is calling you specifically. You are a gate, and gates matter. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Let this declaration seal your decision in the spiritual realm. Now hear this carefully, because this moment extends beyond you. If this message is touching your spirit, it means God is also calling you to help carry this light forward. I am speaking directly to you now. When you support this work through super thanks, membership, or PayPal donation, the link is in the description. You are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls. You are placing oil into a lamp that keeps burning in dark places. God says He gives seed to the sower, and your obedience here becomes a harvest in places you may never see. This is not a suggestion. This is a prophetic moment of response. Those who move now will not lack, because heaven honors those who partner with its mission. Step into it. Act in faith. Release your seed, and let God multiply it with fire and favor. As we move forward, what will be revealed next is deeper, sharper, and more personal. Michael will uncover the exact habits and mindsets that either protect or endanger your connection with God. Stay focused. Stay open. This is where restoration becomes transformation. My beloved soul, Archangel Michael now speaks with piercing precision, because what is being revealed in this moment concerns the inner structure of your life. Until now, the warning has been about the connection itself. Now heaven exposes what silently threatens it from within. Michael reveals that the greatest damage does not come from sudden failure, but from unexamined patterns. Repeated thoughts, tolerated attitudes, and unchecked habits quietly shape the spiritual atmosphere around you. These patterns either strengthen the bridge between you and God or place weight upon it until it begins to strain. This is why this moment is critical. Awareness must now become correction. Michael shows that many believers unknowingly live divided lives. One part of the heart reaches for God, while another part clings to control, comfort, or fear. This inner division creates spiritual interference. Prayer feels weaker. This sermon becomes inconsistent. Peace comes and goes, not because God withdraws, but because alignment is fractured. Heaven functions in unity. When the heart is divided, the flow of divine clarity becomes unstable. Michael is not revealing this to condemn you, but to free you. What is exposed can be healed. There are specific mindsets that quietly erode your connection. One of them is spiritual familiarity. When sacred things become routine, reverence fades. Prayer becomes rushed. Listening becomes secondary. Obedience becomes conditional. Michael warns that familiarity dulls spiritual sensitivity. What once felt urgent begins to feel optional. Over time, this weakens responsiveness to God's voice. Heaven is calling you back to reverence, not fear, but holy awareness. The awareness that every moment of alignment matters more than you realize. Another hidden threat Michael reveals is emotional residue. Unforgiven wounds, unresolved disappointments, and suppressed grief do not disappear on their own. They linger in the soul, creating blockages. These blockages distort perception. You may think you are hearing God clearly, but emotional noise interferes with spiritual clarity. Michael urges you to release what you have been carrying. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Release it now. Forgiveness is not agreement with what hurt you. It is agreement with heaven's desire to restore flow. Archangel Michael also exposes the danger of self-reliance disguised as strength. You may appear stable, capable, and resilient on the outside, but heaven sees the cost of carrying burdens alone. When dependence on God is replaced with internal pressure, the soul tightens. Prayer becomes informational instead of relational. The connection remains, but intimacy weakens. Michael reminds you that God never asked you to manage life alone. Surrender is not weakness. It is alignment. Now feel this truth deeply. Nothing revealed here is meant to overwhelm you. Michael does not expose without providing protection. The very fact that you are hearing this means heaven is already working to restore balance. The light is not being withdrawn. It is being redirected. But you must cooperate. Awareness without action leads to stagnation. Awareness followed by obedience leads to transformation. This is where many hesitate. Correction requires humility. It requires admitting that something must change. Michael says this is where the connection either strengthens or continues to strain. Small, intentional shifts now prevent major spiritual repair later. Adjust how you speak to God. Adjust how you listen. Adjust what you tolerate in your thoughts. These are not minor details. They are structural supports of your spiritual life. Archangel Michael now stands as a guardian at the gate of decision. He is watching what you do with what you now know. Heaven responds not to emotion, but to movement. A single act of obedience can restore clarity that months of confusion could not. Do not underestimate the power of one aligned decision, one honest prayer, one released burden, one moment of surrender. These are the keys that reopen flow. You may feel conviction rising, but understand this clearly. conviction is not accusation. It is invitation. God is not pointing out flaws to shame you. He is identifying pressure points to heal you. Michael's presence ensures that this process is protected. You are not being left exposed. You are being covered while corrected. That is divine love in action. Now prepare your heart, because what comes next will go even deeper. The next revelation will show how timing plays a role in spiritual connection, how delayed obedience creates spiritual drag, and how immediate response accelerates divine movement. This is where momentum shifts. This is where alignment becomes acceleration. Stay present. Stay open. Stay willing. The connection is being stabilized even now as truth settles into your spirit. Archangel Michael remains near, not as a distant messenger, but as an active guardian of your return. God is still waiting, not with frustration, but with expectancy. And your next response will determine how quickly heaven moves on your behalf. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now reveals a truth that many overlook, yet it determines whether the divine connection accelerates or slowly weakens over time. This truth is timing. Heaven moves with precision, and obedience delayed is not the same as obedience fulfilled. God's call carries momentum, and when you respond immediately, that momentum multiplies grace, clarity, and protection. But when response is postponed, spiritual drag sets in. The connection does not vanish instantly, but it becomes heavier, slower, and harder to move with. Michael is speaking now because your timing matters more than you realize. You may think that waiting a little longer causes no harm. But Michael shows that delayed obedience creates spiritual congestion. Insight comes, but action stalls. Conviction arises, but movement hesitates. Over time, this pattern trains the soul to resist urgency. The heart becomes less responsive, not because it is rebellious, but because it has grown accustomed to postponement. Heaven still speaks, but the response window narrows. This is why this moment is critical. God is not just calling you to return. He is calling you to respond now. Archangel Michael explains that immediate obedience keeps the spiritual channel clear. When God prompts you to pray, and you pray. When you are nudged to forgive, and you forgive. When you feel the pull to realign, and you do it. These moments create flow. Flow brings peace. Flow brings clarity. Flow invites protection. But when these moments are repeatedly delayed, the flow weakens. Infusion increases. Discernment dulls. And the soul feels tired without knowing why. This is not punishment. It is resistance created by delay. Right now, Michael is watching how your spirit reacts to this truth. Awareness alone is not enough. Heaven responds to action. This is where many receive revelation but miss transformation. They feel stirred, convicted, even emotional, but they do not move. Michael warns that emotion without obedience fades quickly. But obedience, even without emotion, produces lasting change. This is where alignment becomes power. Hear this clearly. God is not asking you to fix everything at once. He is asking you to move on what He has already shown you. The first step, a clear instruction. The nudge you already know. That is where restoration begins. When you act on the first thing, the second becomes clear. When you obey the first instruction, the next one follows naturally. Delay interrupts this sequence. Obedience restores it. Archangel Michael is also revealing that delayed response affects more than your inner world. It affects the spiritual atmosphere around you. Homes feel heavier. Relationships feel strained. Peace feels inconsistent. Not because God has withdrawn, but because alignment is partial. Heaven flows best through fully open channels. When response is immediate, alignment deepens. When response is delayed, resistance builds. Now pause and feel this moment. This is not pressure. This is precision. Michael is not rushing you. He is aligning you with heaven's timing. This is where momentum can shift instantly. One decision made now can reverse weeks or months of stagnation. One act of obedience can restore clarity that confusion has hidden. This is why heaven is speaking firmly now. And while you are here, hearing this message, it is important that you anchor this moment. If this revelation is speaking to your spirit, engage with it. Like this video as a sign of alignment. Comment to declare that you are choosing immediate obedience. Share this message with someone who may be delaying their return to God without realizing the cost. Subscribe to stay connected to these warnings and revelations, and join the membership if you feel called to walk deeper in this journey. Your engagement is not casual. It reinforces your response and strengthens the spiritual impact of this message beyond this moment. Now listen closely, because this is a moment of retention you will be glad you stayed for. What comes next will reveal what happens when heaven's timing is fully honored, and what shifts occur when obedience becomes immediate instead of delayed. This next truth will change how you respond to God forever. Archangel Michael remains present, steady and watchful. He is not counting your failures. He is watching your movement. Heaven is not measuring perfection. It is measuring willingness. The moment you move, heaven moves. The moment you respond, protection strengthens. The moment you obey, clarity returns. This is the divine exchange. Do not underestimate how close you are to breakthrough. Many turn back just before alignment accelerates. Many hesitate just before flow returns. Michael is telling you now, do not stop here. Do not delay again. Let this moment be different. Let this response be immediate. The next revelation will show how sustained obedience seals the connection permanently and protects it from future erosion. Stay with this. Your consistency is about to become your covering. God is watching. Heaven is ready. And your next step determines how powerfully the connection is restored. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with steady authority, because this is the stage where everything begins to settle into permanence. What you have heard so far was not only meant to awaken you, but to prepare you. Now heaven reveals how the connection with God is not only restored, but sealed. This is where many people misunderstand spiritual life. They think reconnection is a moment, a feeling, or a single prayer. But Michael reveals that true alignment is sustained through consistency. What you repeatedly choose becomes what protects you. What you repeatedly honor becomes your covering. Heaven is not fragile, but the human will is. That is why sustained obedience matters. Michael shows that when obedience becomes a lifestyle instead of a reaction, the connection stabilizes. The spiritual fluctuations you once experienced begin to disappear. Peace becomes steady. Discernment becomes sharp. You stop questioning whether God is near because His presence becomes familiar again, not through routine, but through relationship. This is the fruit of consistency. Archangel Michael explains that many people return to God emotionally, but drift again behaviorally. They feel close in moments of intensity, but disconnected in daily life. This creates cycles: return, drift, return again. Heaven desires more for you. Michael says this season is about breaking that cycle, not by trying harder, but by choosing alignment daily, especially when nothing dramatic is happening. That is where the connection is protected long term. Understand this clearly. Consistency is not perfection. It is direction. You may still stumble. You may still struggle. But when your direction remains toward God, heaven covers your weakness. The danger comes when direction becomes unclear, when prayer becomes optional, when alignment becomes conditional. Michael warns that this is where ruin quietly begins again. That is why heaven is teaching you now how to guard what is being restored. Archangel Michael reveals that spiritual stability is built through small, repeated acts. Returning to prayer even when you feel dry. To the obedience even when it feels inconvenient. Pausing to listen even when life is loud. These actions anchor the soul. Over time, they form a spiritual rhythm that resists disruption. This rhythm becomes your defense. It makes you less vulnerable to distraction, delay, and doubt. You may notice that as alignment strengthens, resistance sometimes increases. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of reinforcement. When the connection becomes stable, opposing forces lose access. They attempt to regain influence through distraction or discouragement. Michael stands firm in these moments. His role is not only to restore, but to guard. But again, heaven works in partnership. When you maintain alignment, Michael's protection remains active. There is also a deeper peace that begins to emerge at this stage. Not emotional excitement, but spiritual confidence. You begin to trust God's presence without needing constant reassurance. Decisions become clearer. Fear loses its grip. This is not because life becomes easier, but because the connection becomes stronger. Michael reveals that this is the sign of a sealed alignment. The soul is no longer constantly searching. It is anchored. Now hear this carefully. This stability is a gift, but it must be honored. Michael warns against complacency. Not fearfully, but wisely. Honor the connection by continuing to respond. Continue to listen. Continue to realign quickly when you feel drift beginning. Quick correction prevents deep repair later. This awareness is a mark of spiritual maturity. Archangel Michael also reveals that when alignment is sustained, your life becomes a signal to others. People may not know why they feel peace around you. They may not understand why your presence carries clarity, but it is the overflow of connection. When one soul stays aligned, it affects the spiritual atmosphere around it. This is how God uses ordinary lives to produce extraordinary impact. As this message deepens, prepare yourself for the final revelation. What comes next is not another warning, but a sealing. Heaven's final call does not end in fear. It ends in decision. The last message will show you what happens when the connection is fully chosen, fully honored, and fully protected. It will reveal what heaven releases when a soul finally stops wavering and fully returns. Stay focused. Stay receptive. Stay aligned. Archangel Michael is still present, not as a messenger of urgency now, but as a guardian of what has been restored. God is not distant. He is near. And the final words you are about to hear will confirm what heaven has been preparing all along. My beloved child, the moment you have been waiting for has arrived. Archangel Michael now stands fully before you, wings wide, sword glowing with divine fire, ready to seal the connection that God has been calling you back to all this time. This is heaven's final moment of invitation, a sacred threshold between hesitation and full alignment. What you choose now is not merely about today. It is about eternity, about the strength, clarity, and protection of your soul from this point forward. God is waiting with open arms, and Michael is here to guide you across this final step. Take a deep breath and feel the presence of Michael around you. His energy is not threatening, it is power, it is clarity, it is protection. He is here to make sure that nothing distracts you from the decision that will anchor your soul permanently. Every hesitation you release, every thought of delay you set aside, every act of surrender strengthens the thread connecting your heart to heaven. Imagine a radiant cord glowing from your chest to God's throne. It has been frayed by hesitation, weakened by distraction, but today, with your conscious choice, it will shine brighter than ever. Michael now shows that spiritual alignment is not a fleeting moment. It is a lifestyle anchored in obedience, humility, and awareness. God's presence is available at all times, but it is your willingness to receive it fully that activates the blessings, protection, and guidance prepared for you. Every prayer, every act of surrender, every moment of intentional listening restores the fullness of your soul and shields it from forces that seek to weaken your faith. The connection you establish today is not temporary. It is a permanent fortification that will sustain you through challenges, doubt, and confusion. Now listen carefully, for this part is crucial. Archangel Michael reveals that when a soul chooses full alignment, the spiritual realm responds immediately. Angels position themselves in protection, clarity floods the mind, discernment sharpens, and God's guidance flows more freely. But this only happens when the soul acts decisively, no longer waiting, no longer hesitating, but fully choosing to return, fully choosing to obey, fully choosing to trust. This is the moment where heaven moves on your behalf. Your past doubts, distractions, and delays do not define you here. Michael assures you that the act of choosing alignment, even now, outweighs months or years of hesitation. God is not measuring perfection. He is measuring willingness. Your willingness is the key that unlocks the power of heaven, the flow of divine light, and the shield of spiritual protection. The angels rejoice at your joys. Michael's sword is not just a weapon. It is a symbol of divine authority now placed around your life, guarding you from anything that could interrupt this restored connection. As you step into this moment fully, understand that the restoration of your connection affects more than you. Your alignment strengthens the spiritual atmosphere of your home, your family, and even those you may not yet meet. Your return to God is a light that others can feel, a ripple that spreads unseen blessings. This is why heaven had been so persistent in its call. Michael now declares that your obedience is not only protective, it is prophetic. Your choice today releases influence, peace, and clarity into the lives of those around you. Type "I am restored" in the comments if you feel the power of this message in your spirit. Blessing code 3333 has now been activated. Let this declaration seal your decision in the spiritual realm and establish a permanent connection with God that cannot be easily disrupted. Now, I speak directly to you. If this message has stirred your spirit, if your heart is responding to heaven's call, you can extend the impact of this alignment by supporting this mission. When you give through Super Thanks, join membership, or donate via PayPal, the link is in the description. You are not giving to a channel. You are actively participating in God's work of awakening souls. Every act of support is like pouring oil into lamps across the world, igniting light in places of darkness. You are helping angels reach hearts that may otherwise remain closed, and in doing so, you release blessings upon your own life. This is a prophetic act. Is obedience extended into action? God sees it, heaven honors it, and your soul becomes a vessel of multiplied influence. Step forward boldly and release your seed, knowing that what you give returns to you multiplied, fortified by divine favor and the power of Michael's protection. Now feel the weight of this moment. You are no longer hesitating. You are no longer partially aligned. You are fully choosing God. Your connection is sealed. Your protection is strengthened. Your clarity is restored. Archangel Michael is by your side, not as a distant observer, but as an active guardian. Every whisper of doubt that tries to rise is now met with his sword of divine authority. Every distraction is met with his wings of protection. And every decision you make from this moment forward carries the clarity, light, and strength of a soul fully returned. Child of God, this is the culmination of heaven's call. The journey of awakening, warning, and correction has led to restoration, and the next steps you take will flow from this permanent alignment. Live in awareness. Live in obedience. Live in the fullness of God's presence. Let Michael guide you continuously. Let God's light illuminate every decision, and let your life be a signal of divine alignment to everyone around you. This is heaven's final call fulfilled. You have answered. You have returned. You have chosen alignment. And now, the power of heaven flows fully through your life, forever strengthened by your conscious decision to obey. Beloved, your heart has been stirred by heaven's call, and now is the time to act in both obedience and partnership. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or PayPal donation, the link is in the description. You are sowing light into the lives of countless souls. You are helping angels deliver guidance, protection, and awakening to those who have yet to hear God's call. Your gift becomes prophetic, multiplying blessings in your own life as heaven honors your obedience. Step forward in faith today. Release your seed and watch as God uses your support to expand His kingdom on earth. This is not a donation. It is a divine act that touches eternity.